A new warning for Florida tonight in the war on terrorism. The FBI is telling dive shops to be on alert. Investigators are concerned the next terrorist attack could come by sea. CBS 4's Lori Stein has the story.
Around the country, federal and state law enforcement are asking dive shop owners and also boaters to watch out for anything unusual. At this shop, Divers Direct in South Florida, the owners acted on that warning immediately. A letter from BSO tells dive shop owners to watch for suspicious people requesting unusual services who might be conducting acts of terrorism. That was enough for one dive shop to call authorities when someone wanted to purchase $10,000 worth of tanks.
They wanted to purchase 40 high-pressure 100 tanks, which are tanks that you'd use for being underwater a really long time or going deeper, and they wanted to pay cash.
Although there's no evidence of any specific plot, the FBI is warning that someone could use SCUBA to place explosives on a bridge, nuclear power plant, or underwater power lines. FBI agents came to this dive shop in Hillsborough, New Jersey last week. The owner had recently contacted them about several people she considered suspicious.
We actually had somebody come in who wanted to learn to dive and had a desire specifically to be commercial and learn to work on bridges, and it kind of like sent up a red flag.
Meanwhile, the Coast Guard is asking boaters to report suspicious activity on the waterways. Those include people taking pictures of waterside facilities, renting or buying boats with cash, and trying to access waterside facilities without proper ID.
The Coast Guard is understaffed and overworked at this time of the year, so all the eyes and the ears that we could use from the public, it would be greatly appreciated.
At this Broward County dive shop, salespeople are now paying close attention to unusual purchases for items like the torpedo, which can propel divers 3.5 miles an hour.
It'd be a great way to cover a long distance underwater without having to swim. I mean, this would be something suspicious if you saw somebody coming in to buy a lot of these.
And then there's this dive mask that allows divers to communicate with each other underwater. What they do is they put the mask on and then they press this button as soon as they want to talk. This receiver back here allows divers to communicate with each other under the water.
It allows people, you know, if you had 4 or 5 of these, 4 or 5 people could easily talk to each other underwater and coordinate their activities.
In New Jersey, this dive shop owner is going through her records to look for students who started but didn't finish scuba training. And many other dive shop owners could be doing the same. An FBI spokesperson said the warning was nothing to, quote, be panicked about, and they said it was based on uncorroborated information, but they said they just wanted to be extra cautious. In Sunrise, Lori Stein, CBS 4 News.
An FBI warning about possible scuba diving terrorists hits close to home. The FBI is contacting dive shops around South Florida looking for anything out of the ordinary. Willard Shepard is live in Miami tonight with the latest on this story. Willard.
Well, Julia, tonight the big cruise ships are pulling out of the port of Miami here behind me and going down Government Cut. The FBI very, very concerned about the safety of all vessels on this particular waterway and all waterways here in South Florida. That's why right now FBI agents are fanning out all over the state. They're going into dive shops to talk to owners. They want to make sure that no one comes in to try to pick up anything that could be used against us.
There had been an FBI warning issued.
In her 12 years in the dive business, Candace Torombino never thought about terrorists until now. Several days ago, the FBI sent out a message to all dive shops across Florida. Be on the lookout for anything suspicious. Candace says then she got a request for a large order of commercial tanks.
I did have an incident where I had a request for a large purchase that I relayed to them.
And that caught your attention?
It did.
Candace couldn't say for sure if the man placing the order was Middle Eastern. The FBI is concerned that terrorists could make their next attack underwater. The big targets would be cruise ships loaded with passengers or freighters. Agents are fanning out across the state, talking to dive shop operators. Now, this is the kind of dive card that anyone who is a certified diver receives from the organization that checks them out called PADI. On the back of it, it has a photo ID and also lists some other personal information. Federal authorities are taking this information, they're coming up with a database, and they're checking out each and every diver.
What we sell here is fun, and it's unfortunate to know that possibly this fun could be used against us.
The Broward County Sheriff's Office sent out this alert. It says that divers, scuba shop owners, dive instructors, and rental businesses are requested to be attentive to persons requesting unusual services, asking unusual questions, and generally not conducting business in the usual manner.
And I just got off the phone with the FBI a short time ago this afternoon. They wouldn't say any more about this alert that has been put out, but those agents are out, fanning out, taking a close look at divers and all types of diving operations tonight. That woman we talked to down there in Florida City, she did not make any sale to that person who came in. The FBI is trying to check him out tonight. We're going to have much more on this story tonight at 6 o'clock. Tony, back to you.
What at first sounded like a far-fetched terrorist threat involving scuba divers takes on a new twist in South Florida. Firebombs scar two of South Florida's most high-profile anti-Cuban organizations. And who is going to solve some of our area's biggest traffic headaches? Look in your rearview mirror. The NBC 6 News at 6 starts now. Good evening, everyone. We told you about this more than a week ago about an alert that terrorists may be learning how to scuba dive.
And tonight that warning has taken on special significance here in South Florida. FBI agents are now canvassing area dive shops, gathering key information that could help determine whether anyone might be about to use scuba gear as a tool for terrorism. Willard Shepard has been following this story. He joins us live now from Miami with more. Willard.
Good evening to you, Martha. Well, here behind me, the freighters, also all of the cargo ships, the barges, and also the cruise lines that call the Port of Miami home. The FBI very, very worried and concerned about them. The FBI, of course, and federal authorities came under a lot of criticism, saying that they knew people were going to flight schools and they didn't do anything about it. This time, the FBI wants to make sure that no one attacks us underwater.
I don't like it, to be honest with you.
Until the FBI showed up, Candace Torrembino hadn't thought much about terrorists turning her sport that's supposed to be fun into a danger for all of us.
What we sell here is fun, and it's unfortunate to know that possibly this fun could be used against us.
Candace says she contacted the FBI when a man came in requesting a huge amount of commercial diving tanks. The man walked in after the FBI put out an alert to all of those in the diving business.
A year ago, it may not have caught my attention, but it did now.
Now, Candace says the man who came in the store and made the request was a dark-complected gentleman, but she could not say definitively whether or not he was of Middle Eastern descent. The FBI is now checking out all of the information, and she hasn't made any sale as of right now. The FBI is concerned that terrorists could make their next attack underwater. The big targets would be cruise ships loaded with passengers or freighters. Agents are fanning out across the state, talking to dive shop operators. Now, this is the kind of dive card that anyone who is a certified diver receives from the organization that checks them out, called PADI. On the back of it, it has a photo ID and also lists some other personal information. Federal authorities are taking this information, they're coming up with a database, and they're checking out each and every diver. The Broward County Sheriff's Office sent out this alert. It says that divers, scuba shop owners, dive instructors, and rental businesses are requested to be attentive to persons requesting unusual services, asking unusual questions, and generally not conducting business in the usual manner. So it's local and federal authorities tonight that are taking a close look at all of these operations right now. What they are also doing is fanning out across the state of Florida. They want to specifically focus in on any leads that they get, and they're checking out every single diver across the country that has one of those cards and has been certified. Tony and Martha, back to you.